It was a good tough game. Probably a pretty heavy field in the middle there for most part. Yeah, it was good conditioning hit out. I thought we had some decent brand of what we're trying to create without having great execution. I thought process stuff was pretty steady today.
Obviously, you took the half-backs off at half-time. That had a bearing on that, didn't it?
I'm not sure. I thought both halves of the game were pretty hard fought. And it's always, almost impossible to tell in friendlies when people are coming and going and whatnot to see what the strength of the opposition was. But I thought that Gano and Cine did well in the second half, and I was pretty positive about how we played overall.
Happy with the defence at times under a lot of pressure for spells in that second half on your own line?
Yeah, I would have said I didn't check the numbers today, but I would have said that we didn't have much of the field position in general, but that doesn't really phase us too much. I thought we looked mostly comfortable on the try line, which is pleasing. We had a couple of moments and a interesting play the ball down there where there'll be the vocab on the referee's mic might be interesting on that one, but in the end it's a good hard game of footy today, and that's all we were concerned about.
How about the two new faces in the team, Sam and Lewis? How do you feel they went?
Sam was steady, I thought. He hasn't played a game since I think middle of September, early September maybe, and then he was training on his own for a few months while his visa and work permit and all that stuff was taking time. So he's still got some work to do to get anywhere near his best, and I don't even know if he knows where his best is yet. I don't know if he's ever seen it. He's played well in the NRL and been a good player over there, but I've got really high expectations and opinion of where Sam can get to. So I thought it was a steady hit out today. I thought he did okay. Roberts was good. He was good. The intention was for Fussatua to play right centre today, but he had an illness yesterday and he woke up probably a bit worse today than he was yesterday. So he wasn't selected, and then that meant Big Red got the opportunity to play right centre there, and obviously got a good test against Latelli.
He looked he took his try well, didn't he?
He did, very composed. Running the last play from 40 metres out or so, he composed himself at the point of contact, and then was strong enough to make a break, and then he composed himself against a fullback that was trying to take an intercept or get in the way there. It was a nice bit of play. Yeah.
How's Liam Tyndall? Is he okay?
He's okay. He got more a bang in the eye but they took him off and went through the HIA protocol, and he was totally fine. So that was the opportunity to get him back out there and get the minutes into him. He's competing for a spot, so he needs those opportunities.
Obviously, getting through injury-free is important in pre-season. Did everyone come through all right as far as you know at this stage?
At this stage, yeah, we've got a bunch of bark off and a few dings and whatnot, but nothing that I'm aware of that'll put anyone out for any period of time.
Thank you.
Rohan, you obviously tried out a lot of people at centre today. Has that given you a bit of food for thought ahead of round one, and who you may play there?
No different today to this morning to this evening. No different as far as who might play in round one, but positive to see all four, I think, played centre today. All did well. Darrell grew up playing centre and was a centre until halfway through his 20s, so it's not new to him. Ash Hanley's just a good footballer all round, in my opinion, so he looked like a centre today. He also looked like a fullback, and we know he is a winger, so all of those things are good signs. Roberts was good. That was a really pleasing step for him. I see him as a winger or a centre going forward. Big kid, got a lot of growing in him yet, but he's a competitor. He's a happy, good teammate. He's got a lot of attributes, that kid. And Levi Edwards, I thought, did well today as well. That's he's played against Leigh a bunch of times last year in the championship, but it's a different beast now, and I thought he did quite well today. So, they're all good signs. Obviously, Harry Newman will be one centre whenever he's fit. Nene McDonald's an accomplished centre, but also a very good winger, and he's played the best of his footy on the wing in the NRL. And also Fusatua grew up playing a lot of centre and fullback as well. So we've got versatility, and that's what I'm trying to create in our group is if someone's out, that whoever's in is ready. So who plays in round 1 might be different to who plays round 2 and 3, and so yeah.
Would you say that at least, and after the Boxing Day game, you mentioned Leon, and he's still got a bit of work to do in development. Do you think that Lewis and Levi are far enough down the track where they are ready? If you needed to call upon them, they would be ready to handle the rigours of Super League. Well,
Lewis has played Super League, so that's a bit more of a proven path. But both those kids are. Levi's just turned 18, I think so. It's a big step, and there's a difference, massive difference that I think gets under mentioned about being able to play Super League once or twice or a few times is a lot different to being called upon every week. And I think almost all players need some kind of stage progression into being an every week Super League player. At times, people jump in as a young kid and they stay, but that's more of a rarity than than the best path, I think. So, if those kids, they'll get an opportunity if the others are out. They won't force their way in by performance at this point. The seasoned, more veteran players will get first opportunity because they've earned that right.
Blake Austin and Aidan Caesar were the other way around to what we saw last season with Blake on the left and Aidan on the right. I just wondered what the reasoning behind that was.
Oh, lots of reasons. To maybe sum it up, I don't want them playing on one side at all. So what we saw was Austin playing both sides of the field quite a bit, and Caesar more. While he was more right-sided, he was actually first receiver on shifts or out the back of the first layer of middles, playing to our right at times, and Austin had swung around there. So what I want him to do is not play on one side or the other. But so a bit of that today was getting experience on the other side of the field because for whatever reason they've played a lot together over the years at Canberra and not a lot here last year, but a bit. And they gravitated towards left and right for some reason. It's not something I've ever told them to do. I think it's a blemish on the game, to be honest, that we play left and right. And I don't know why halves always, if you're left-footed, you stand on the left side of the field all the time. I think a lot of the time it's actually more beneficial to be on the right side of the play the ball if you're a left-footed kicker anyway. But so I don't want us to be strict or rigid and I was really pleased with how both those players went today, and a lot of stuff off the ball and process stuff that they did isn't flashy or didn't come to any sort of points today, but it was positive, energetic footy, I thought.
We've seen almost all the entire first team squad, but no Corey Johnson. Any particular reason why he hasn't had a run out yet? Corey
had back surgery. Was that September or October? I don't know the exact term of the surgery that he had, but he had sort of a disc repair in his lower back. He's almost in sort of full training. He's still getting monitored a little bit, but he's basically doing all the training. But Corey won't play in the next few weeks at least. I think Corey can be a long-time Super League player as a hooker or a half. He's been through a fair bit with his body in the last couple of years. He was niggled, hampered, banged up on and off last year. He still showed, particularly at Magic, what he could do and dig in and really compete that day with a body that wasn't cooperating, I guess. So he's still a few weeks of work away from playing, he'll feature in our reserves when that kicks off, and then from there we'll assess what the best path for him is.
You mentioned about versatility, and that was evident. I know you spoke mainly about backs and sort of mixing half backs up and not having more both on the side they gravitated towards. It was the same with the forwards as well, though, wasn't it? Because there's quite a lot of mixing and matching. Do you find that that's going to be something that is going to improve them because they're playing in a position that maybe not been in too much?
Yeah, well, I think it helps you to understand the game better if you can play more than one position, and you're more adaptable, you're more versatile to be able to be selected and more valuable to the team if you can play more than one place. But even within the game, if you're a middle person, you end up on the short side in defence. So that's a given. It happens to everyone. So being able to defend on the short side means you might be able to defend as a back rower at times. So, Sam Walters and Zane Tedovano both played middle and edge today, and Zane grew up being an edge back rower as a young kid. I coached him in 2009, and he was mostly an edge back rower back then. He spent most of his time in the NRL as a middle, played comfortably there at the back end of last season for us on the edge. Sam Walters has been mostly an edge. I'll probably see him more as a middle for us at this time, but getting both of those guys exposure there was part of the process, and that's what this period of games is about, getting blokes fit, getting blokes exposed to where they might play during the year.
Thank you. What did you make of the league today? Is this new boys in Super League?
Very focused on my own team, and I didn't pay any attention to who they picked or whatnot. I know some of their players really well, but by the time we play them next time, I'll be studying their players a lot harder. They competed hard, and I think they've put on paper from the squad list that I saw the other week. I think they've put a good roster together. I think they'll be competitive, but very much about us today is where my focus was.
Are you any closer on deciding on who your captain will be? I think Cruz was the skipper again today.
If Cruz did the toss and led the boys out, that's good as gold by me. But there was no captain assigned for today. There's no closer to really, we're getting close to the start of the season, but again, I'm not fixed on the one leader model. I just don't know what environment that probably works best in anymore.
And lastly, who could come back next week for Bradford? I mean, will it be a first team outing as well?
Yeah, there'll be plenty of good players playing next week. Cam Smith will be playing. Fusatua will be playing. That didn't play today. Trying to think.
Reece Martin, Bentley.
Reece Martin will play next week. Bentley won't be ready.